Calling the meeting to order at 9:03. We had a lot of late comers today, so that's why I pushed it back just a little bit. First order of business. Put your phones on silent, please. And Charlie, remember me to turn it back on when we adjourn, please?
Yeah, you're asking the wrong person, but I'll try.
All right.
Mine might not come back on until Tuesday.
I hear you. Okay. We're gathered here. The purpose of the association is to protect and enhance our city neighborhoods. The coalition shall address the needs of neighborhoods and stand in support of these needs. That's why we're here. So, Mr. Costa, first past immediate vice president. Do we have any special guests?
We do. Do we have a microphone to work?
I thought we were all special.
All right, guys.
It's on.
It was on.
It's on, Lou.
I get it. Now, but I put it off. Hello? Hello?
No.
Hello? Hello?
There we go.
All right. Everyone, first of all, I want to thank everyone one more time for coming in on a Saturday. County Commissioner Mark Smith, stand up please, there you go. I would also like to just have everyone take a notice that Mark, his wife always comes with him. That's the, please stand up and just wave. Thank you. Okay, Commissioner Jen, I know you're floating around there someplace in the back. Where are you? There you go. Commissioner Debbie Trice, where are you? Thank you, Debbie. And is there someone coming in? Oh, yeah, I believe so.
Liz.
Yeah, hang on. Okay. Well, anyhow, Commissioner Liz, because I'm going down to Commissioner, just wave your hand, please. Thank you. City Manager, Marlon, where are you? There we are. I love it. And of course, there's always my favorite, where is the deputy? Unbelievable. All right. All right. Director of Planning, Steve Koba. Stevie, come on, there you go. I didn't see Lucia come in. Did she? Where? Oh. Thank you. And we got code compliance. We got Whitney. Whitney, stand up, please. There you go, everyone. Head of parking, Braxton. Okay. Broxton. I'm from Boston. It's Braxton. And for the police, Matt, where are you?
Right here, sir.
Behind you. And did I miss Nancy Kelly? Where are you? There you go. And I'm being told I did not get Commissioner Trice, but I thought I did.
Yes, you did.
Okay. And did I miss anybody down there? Alrighty, here you go, Richard.
Thank you, Lou. Is there anybody that's the first time to the table? Is there anybody? All right, San Remo, your face, I haven't seen you in a while.
No,
Thank you.
I'm sitting in for Barbara Beard, but I
Thank-
was the street rep for the CCNA for a while back.
Excellent, welcome back.
Thank you.
Park East, right?
Yeah, that's right. This is my first time at the table. I came to the Christmas event, so I didn't get to do any tabling, but this is the first time.
Well, welcome both. Okay, oh,
I'm Rhonda Manassi, I'm the alternate for Plymouth Harbor. Joyce Fitzpatrick is away.
excellent. Thank you. Welcome to the table, you folks. So let's move on. We're going to have our report from Officer Matt next, but I think Pat has an introductory comment.
Morning, everybody. Hey, just wanted to let you know, Matt is taking over for Danny full-time, so he's gonna be our new presenter, and we're taking this opportunity to change up the way we do the report just a little bit. So we're gonna have a presentation that goes out through Jim Ludwig on the website before the meeting every day, so it's not just gonna be those dry numbers. We're gonna do month-to-month and year-to-year comparisons, so Matt's gonna take it away, and if you have any questions, you can ask him, and then he'll ask me, and I'll let you know.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me today. So we're going to start this PowerPoint off with crime stats for the month of March. So I hope, can everybody see this okay?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. No, you were good. Thank you, Flo. So you can see for the month of March, we've had 0 murders. Aggravated assaults were 27. Excuse me about that. Robbery is 7. The sex crimes are 2, burglary is 8, larceny from vehicle is 10, and motor vehicle theft is 6. So that's just for the month of March, okay? So we're gonna do comparison on the next couple slides. So murder's the first one, okay? So we're gonna start from January of 23 to March of 23. There were 0. And then, so, can everybody hear me okay still? I'm sorry. Okay. And then from January of 24 to March of 24, that's 2024, that is, there was 1 so far this year. Aggravated assault from January of 23 to March of 23, there was 68, and then to January of 24 to March of 24, 56. So we have a down in crime. All right. The next one is going to be robbery. So in January of 23 to March of 23, we had 25, and in January of 24 to March of 24, we had 15. So down in crime, in robberies. Sex crimes. In January of 23 to March of 23, we had 8, and in January of 24 to March of 24, we had 5, so down. Burglary, we've had, and from January of 23 to March of 23, we had 58, and then from January of 24 to March of 24, we've had 37, so downward trend. Larceny from a vehicle, in 23, so January of 23 to March of 23, we had 85, and then January of 24 to March of 24, 36. So it's a big down number. And then for motor vehicle theft, we've had 39 for January of 23 to March of 23, and 24 for January of 24 to March of 24. So down. So we've had downward in all our crimes.
Wow, great.
All right, something new that we kind of talk about, but we also want to bring you a crime tip of the month. So we have tax season coming up. So we are talking about IRS scams. So we just want you guys to know a few things. So if you get unsolicited calls, and this PowerPoint will be sent out after this is done, so if you can't see or anything, you can read it more in depth. You know, these calls are meant to give you high pressure, threatening you that, hey, we're going to arrest you, all that. So just know that IRS will not call first. They will send you notified through the United States mail, okay? So just remember that, okay? Immediate payment. Even though they will request like, hey, you need to pay me now, these incidents will happen, that's not the way they're going to do it, okay? They're going to use a specific way they want you to pay. Law enforcement, they will not, our IRS will not come threaten you that we're going to come arrest you today, okay? So they just want you to do that so you can make an irrational decision about paying or going to the scam. And then, just to let you know, and then it says the IRS is very detailed, so they're going to tell you, they're going to have certain, excuse me, it's on there, numbers or letters on top, it says the top or bottom right-hand corner for the notice to let you know this is theirs, okay? the good thing is if you have any doubts, you can call them, okay? This is the same with emails, anything, guys. Anything you can call that company directly and let them know. And they'll let you know if there's something going on, scams and stuff like that. Also, you can go on their website and they'll have stuff like that up to date, okay? So, like I said, this will be on the email or the site after this is done, so if you want to look further into it. But just be aware, IRS season, I'm sure calls like this are coming around. There's some upcoming events that I want you guys to know about. This has been a great success, Painting with the Police. We do it at the Robert L. Taylor Center. It's going to be April 17th. Also, if people want to get more involved in what we do, we have the Citizens Academy. That will be starting on August 7th. Packed Patrol Car is a great event as well. That's where we get backpacks, school supplies for less fortunate kids, so it's a great event. That date will be coming. There's a ride it's called the Ride of Silence. It's at the Robarts Arena, and that's for bicyclists that have passed away riding on the road. And then we have a cookout at Robert O. Taylor, July 5th. And then the last thing is just a way for you guys to connect with us. And then, so Facebook, it says Twitter, X, Instagram, YouTube. If you have an emergency, please, 911. And then non-emergency will be 941-316-1199. And that's it. Thank you so much for your guys' time.
Do we have any questions for Officer Ed? Yes, ma'am.
So it's 28 from Harbor Acres. Speeding tickets, are you increasing the number or crossing the speeders?
I don't have that stat for you. Pat, do you happen to know that one? I'm sorry, sir.
We can add that in on the next
Okay, excellent. So we'll do that for the next go around, okay?
Oh, in traffic accidents, are we seeing an increase in accidents or?
You can email me that. I can get you that stat. I don't know that offhand, but I can definitely. You have my business cards on that site, and I can definitely get those stats from our analyst. Okay.
Any other questions? Excellent. Thank you.
Yes.
Officer
Thank
Mann.
you.
All right, we do have an insert. Lucia Panica from Development Services has a short presentation on things that are happening. Would you, if we could get these things passed, how we want to do this? Pass them on down. And while this is happening, I need to hook my computer back up, so it'll just take a second. So we're going to have a, let's call it a recess. Hang on, just hang on a second. Okay, one reminder, folks on the periphery, some people are having trouble hearing, so conversations in a very low voice. Is there anybody at the table who is not a delegate? All right, look, you see what's happening over here? This is the way we're supposed to do it, right? We got, see that guy right there, Carlos, with a cool hat on, right? He's sitting right behind his rep. Look at that. See?
We got another one too.
Yeah, and Rosemary. See, you guys are so good. Anyway, Lucia, please.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to insert some information for you guys at your meeting. So the City Commission approved and adopted a strategic plan for the city. And one of the projects I wanted to really highlight that Development Services is working on. It's called the Development Review Committee and Site Plan Requirements. The idea of the project is to thoroughly review the process, the DRC process and the site plan requirements, to see what improvements can be made, what changes, et cetera. The DRC that is now on the board was not on the committee when it was reviewed about 14 years ago. And also with technological advances, we think that it's a really good time to holistically look at the process to see what improvements or changes can be made. So the first phase of that project was for internal staff to look at the processes to see what is codified, what is just policy, what are we doing, what are other jurisdictions doing, kind of compare and contrast, and then also come up with just a couple of ideas for improvements or changes. The next step, which is why I wanted to highlight it today at this meeting, is to go out to the public, generate a group of stakeholders to see what is working, what's not working, what could be improved, any ideas that you guys have for improvement, I guess, for the development review committee process and site plan requirements. So that is the next step that we are going into. The sheet that I provided, the updated due dates are a little bit behind. So you see that March 1st is the updated due date for that process to conclude, which the stakeholder process hasn't started yet. So that's why no one has heard about this yet. So I did want to just kind of let you guys know what is coming up. I'm sure you guys are going to be really, really involved with this, and I really look forward to hearing, from the public, hearing different ideas that you all have. And the project should and could result in a streamlined process that the public and staff agree upon and improve the way that projects are reviewed. So I'm personally really excited about this. I think that it's a really, really good opportunity for improvement, and I look forward to working with you guys. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Broxton. Thank you, Lucia. So we'll be talking, yes? Yes. Broxton, come on up, sir. Okay, this is Broxton Harvey. He has been in parking and transportation industry for 25 years. He's from Georgia. No yay back there? There we go, okay. With a BA and an MA in history. And he ends up in parking, go figure. Before I turn, and I'll let him say more about himself if he wishes. But before we continue, I just have to know, how many people in this room, raise your hands, if you know why Cool Hand Luke was in jail? No? You're close. He cut the heads off of parking meters. And so with that, I'm going to let Broxton take over.
Was that a dare?
I paid him to say that, by the way.
Good morning.
Can everybody see the screen?
No, I'll be out of the way in a minute. Yeah, that's a problem here. Not
Get
here.
the lights.
PowerPoint, there we go. And we're gonna go. Yeah. Slideshow. Okay. Play from start. How's that, Broxton? It'll be.
There we go. Do we have a clicker? Or
No, just space bar.
okay. All right. Okay. So again, thank you.
And
My
I
name
can
is
work the space bar for you if you want.
perfect. My name is Broxton Harvey. Again, I'm from Atlanta, and yes, I do have a master's and a BA in history. And one thing I can say about us historians is that what we do is we typically look at something from a different perspective. So that's hence a lot of parking proposals and recommendations, because just because something's been done a particular way for a long period of time doesn't necessarily mean that that's still the best way to actually operate and perform. So with that being said, I'm going to try to go through a 30-minute presentation in 5 or 10 minutes. So bear with me. So the discussion items for today is going to be micromobility and parking updates.
So just a really quick brief introduction about parking. Parking, we actually monitor over 9,500 parking spaces, 3,500 on-street spaces, and about 1,100 of those are actually metered or paid parking spaces. And we also operate 5 parking garages with almost 2,000 parking spaces. Here's a list of the parking garages. We have State Street, Palms, St. Armand's Garage, and ones that our citizens typically forget about is Whole Foods Garage, where we have 300 spaces, and also the Mark Garage at 111 South Pineapple, where the city has 50 public parking spaces. So the parking dilemma, this is the dilemma that parking has always been. How do you get all of these vehicles, right, into these underutilized parking garages? And the answer is we utilize transportation and mobility. It used to be that it was always considered parking and transportation, but now there's been a change and a switch to parking and mobility. So you say, what is the difference between transportation and mobility? Transportation is the process of transporting someone or something. Mobility is having transportation options. What are type of mobility options? We have public transportations, which are buses and subways. We have ride sharing like Uber and Lyft, taxis, limousines, van pools, park and ride, rail, shuttle services, and bike and scooters. For the purpose of this, I'm going to focus on the shuttles and the e-bikes. The Bay Runner currently right now has year-to-date since inception of March 2022, ignore this down here, but March of 2022, we've had 345,820 rides. The highest ride month was March of 2023 with 21,596. So the Bay Runner is a joint effort between the City of Sarasota, Florida Department of Transportation, and CPR Medical Services. Sorry, I'm going back and forth. So here's a map. The route actually starts on School and Main, and it is connected to the Legacy Trail. So anyone that wants to ride their bike can actually utilize their bike, get on the trolley, put their bike on the rack, ride all the way over to the beach, or vice versa, from the beach all the way down to the Legacy Trail. Our hours were from 8 a.m. until midnight. When I arrived, we actually took a look at the hours of operation, and we noticed that there was a need earlier versus later. So we actually changed the hours to 7 a.m. in the mornings, and we went until 10 o'clock through Thursdays, and on the weekends to 11 o'clock. And just a really quick cool fact is that the Bay Runner trolley is not just utilized for tourists. We actually have employees that actually utilize the service and depend on that service to actually get out to the Lido Beach Pavilion and also to the medical facility out at St. Armand's as well. VO Micromobility. VO is currently our scooter partner that we utilize, and I know you all have seen them all over the city. They are actually in 50 different cities. They were started in 2017, and they specialize in long-term relationships, such as the one that they have with us here in the city of Sarasota. They hire 100% local, so they're stimulating the economy by hiring local, and also they have a 24-hour customer support number and website that is supported and is available to the city, riders, and community members. And since inception of March of 2022, we have had 272,000 rides, and the medium distance is 1.7 miles per trip, which is on board with most other cities within Florida, within our region. And this also is a need. Again, it's not just tourists that actually utilize the VO rides. We actually have employees that actually utilize that gap between the first mile and the last mile. A lot of times they can use public transportation, but public transportation does not take them all the way to their destination, and the VO scooter actually fills that gap. They are fully electric and they are eco-friendly. Moving into the parking proposal items, on March the 4th, 2024, we actually had some parking items that were approved through our commission, and I'm gonna go through those. To the reduction of the 2-hour grace period in the parking garages to 1 hour. I actually came in, I did a ticket analysis and a survey, and I realized that over 50, almost 60% of all of our transactions in the garages were under 2 hours. So I took a look at it, and I noticed that downtown garages, which are State Street and Palm, have 152,000 transactions under 2 hours. The proposal now that is passed will be 1 hour, which still will give 85,000 users the opportunity to actually park during the grace period. St. Armand's 55,000 was under 2 hours. Under the new proposed 1 hour would be 16,000. Currently, there are still 598 time-restricted 2 and 3 hour parking spaces within downtown. So anyone that actually wants to still park for a 2 hour grace period, we actually still have 2 hour on-street parking.
And what does grace period mean approximately?
Grace period means you come in, you park, you don't have to pay for parking for that 1 hour or 2 hours. That's the grace period. Typically in other industries, the grace period is only 10 or 15 minutes, and it's not meant to provide free parking. It's meant to, that if a person comes in and cannot find a parking space, they can get out of the garage without having to pay. Sunday safety program, the approval of the Sunday safety program, we will actually move towards Sunday enforcement. Sunday parking will still remain free. We will just enforce safety violations such as people parking in ADA spaces, no parking zones, restricted areas, blocking fire hydrants, etc. It's mainly a safety program. And again, parking will still remain free. Only violators of these type of parking violations will actually be cited. And we actually did a survey, and we went out and we noticed that there were 380 cars on Sundays in St. Armand's and over 200 downtown. Gateless garages. So the way that parking was that the technology was, okay, we went from having parking lots just like over here at the Van Wezel with no type of equipment and gates. And in the 90s, we said, okay, let's go ahead and put gates and put ticket spitters, right? So, and that's the way it was for 20, 30 years. Now we're moving towards gateless technology in which you don't have to have that, the ticket jams and the queuing and people not being able to get into the parking garages and the gates slowing people down from actually getting out after events. So what I proposed and what got passed was the gateless parking garage solution. And what that is, that's gonna actually assist in the ease of parking for customers. The customers will actually utilize an app or text to pay, less congestion and traffic backup. For those that don't want to utilize the app when parking inside the garage, there will still be a pay station that will be located by the elevators. We will utilize license plate recognition to actually take a picture of everyone's tag as it comes in and out of the garage, just in the case that person does not pay. And also, it eliminates the repair and maintenance cost of the gates and the equipment and the ticket spitters. Parking waivers and appeals. Parking waivers was a program that was set forth when the parking program first started back in 2019. It was supposed to be a waiver system in which, when everyone's getting used to the new parking program, that if you forgot to pay, that you can actually come in and show that you paid, show a receipt that you paid $25 to a merchant within the city, and we will waive that first citation. Again, that was supposed to be for 6 months to a year. It was now 5 years, so we're eliminating that waiver, which was about 5% of our citations. Also, we are increasing the appeals fees. That's anyone that wants to appeal a parking citation. Currently, right now, it's $7.50. We're gonna go to $25, and it's not to make money, it's only to cover the cost of the magistrate that hears the hearing, which is $125 an hour. So again, it's just to cover the cost of the magistrate. Centennial Boat Ramp metered parking. Currently, right now, the boat ramp is free. I actually proposed, and what was approved is paid parking at the boat ramp. It will be $10 for a vehicle with a trailer, $5 for single vehicles. Currently, we have 67 spaces for trailers, 28 for single vehicles. On an average day, 40 trailers and 20 cars are in the boat ramp. Ben Franklin, over at Lido Beach, we're actually going to start implementing 80 metered spaces only on the street. And those are the ones as you are entering and going to Lido Beach that are on the street where people can park and take the paths to the beach. Those will, originally the proposal was $1.50 to match the regular rates on the street at St. Armand's in downtown, but we actually reduced that rate to $1 an hour. 368 spaces will still remain free at the Lido Beach Pavilion. So if you don't want to pay for parking, just go down maybe another 100 or 200 yards and park into any of those 368 spaces. Again, here's data for our surrounding beaches. Just real quick, Naples is $4 an hour, Naples Beach. St. Petersburg Beach, $3.75 an hour. And I actually know that to be true because I think it's actually more because I just went there on Easter. So actually paid $8 and some change for 2 hours. And here's a map of where the new parking meters will go in yellow on Ben Franklin. And coming to the end, electric vehicle charging stations. Currently right now, we have about 26 ports, about actually 12 or 13 stations, but they're dual ports. So we actually do not charge for charging your electric vehicle currently right now. However, as everyone understands, there are costs associated with the operating of the charging stations. Currently right now, we utilize $1,700 a month in utility costs, and currently there's $10,000 annually in R&M costs. Actually, that has gone up because I've actually had to replace a couple actually this year, which will probably be closer to over $20,000 in R&M cost. Again, proposing a rate of $1 an hour is not to make money, it's just to cover the cost of the expenses, which are the utilities and the R&Ms. And credit card only for on-street parking. This has been approved as well. It's gonna actually reduce, just to give a really quick synopsis, we actually have 2 revenue collection specialists, and their whole entire job is to go out and collect money from the meters. And from our meters, that's only 1% of the revenue is actually coins. It does not accept dollar bills, only accepts coins. So we actually have 2 full-time employees because they can't go out by themselves to collect the revenue. This will reduce that overhead. We can actually repurpose those 2 specialists into other positions. It also reduces the cash handling processes and safety concerns. Credit cards are easier to reconcile, faster transactions for the customers. The only negative is, of course, if you have more credit cards, you will have more credit card fees. However, again, I put down 12%, but this is 12% throughout the garages, monthly parking, pay on entries. But again, what we're proposing is only changing the on-street parking and the meter parking to coins only. Credit card only. The garages will still continue to accept coins. And also Apple Pay, we're actually looking into utilizing Apple Pay with Park Mobile. The only reason we don't have it already is because they don't have they're not set up currently right now with our credit card processing company. And by the end of the year, we should be able to have Apple Pay within the city of Sarasota. And that is the end, if anyone has any questions.
Questions?
I have a question. I had it first before.
Sorry, before that, I have one last thing. We will also be able to offer the Park Mobile Wallet, which is the ability to actually prepay for parking, and you can it basically deducts as you park on the street.
Like SunPass?
That is correct.
question is, being an owner of a hybrid plug-in car.
Identify yourself.
Oh, Joanne Gonat, I'm second vice of the board. My question is, having a plug-in hybrid car, why, instead of the city putting free charging stations, why don't you do like what other cities do, and they put in the charge point stations where people have to plug in and use their credit card to pay, and then this way here, the city is not accruing any fees, you know, as far as electricity. I mean, trust me, I go to any charge point station I can. It costs me like less than $3 to charge my car.
Sure.
So I would gladly go to any city charge point station.
Sure, so that's what we have. We have charge point, but it's currently free.
Okay.
So, and we are going to set up the $1 an hour, again, to cover the fees. So what you're suggesting is exactly what we're doing.
Okay, and you're gonna do more, I hope?
We can look at that. Yes.
Molly Brown, speaking for Gillespie Park, on VO scooters, we have a pretty dynamic community park, and a lot of VO scooters come to our park. And unfortunately, we don't have a parking station, so they just get thrown on the ground because it's sandy and they won't stand up. And now we've requested that we get a parking station, which is great, but then right after we requested that, the VO scooter people showed up and they've put more scooters on the other side of the park. So now we have two places in the park they're falling all over. So if we could get that resolved, that would be great.
Sure, so that was actually, they showed up since our last time we spoke, and they actually put a hub there. So you're saying that they have two now?
They didn't put a hub, they just have it on the grass. There's no hub.
We'll work with that, yes.
Thank you. Somebody over here have their hand up.
Right here.
Hi,
Yes.
I have 3 small questions. Oh, my name is Jessie Hare. I'm from Lido Key Residents Association. My first question is there any plan to have direct bus or rail connecting from Sarasota to Tampa Airport?
I couldn't speak to that. That would be someone over in planning. and
MPO. That would be
Sure,
MPO.
sure.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't have anything to do with me, myself, and parking.
Okay, my second question is, some people have a disability sticker. Are they waived from paying fees?
If you have yes, that is
Yes,
correct.
okay.
You actually park and you have ADA spaces, and even if you don't park in ADA space, if you park in a metered space, you
Right.
still have 4 hours.
Okay. And thirdly, the electrical charges. We would really appreciate if you can utilize Cleveland Street, Cleveland Avenue on Lido Key, and that is a street right next to Lido Beach Resort.
Okay.
And if we can have fast charges there, that would really alleviate a lot of the traffic in that little corner. And I live right next door to it, and it gets very congested, and that would be very helpful if you're planning, and if you can please
Sure.
look into that area too.
And that is close. That's the next, if I'm
Lido
correct.
Beach Resort,
Yeah, right. That's close next to the pavilion.
between 700 and 800 Benjamin Franklin Drive.
We'll look into that.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
All right, over this side.
Thank you very much. Golden Gate Point, as you know.
What am I doing? Your name.
Oh, I'm Judy Mower. Hello, everybody. Golden Gate Point has 4 active construction projects. And our biggest complaint, illegal parking by construction workers. Not only parking illegally in all kinds of ways, but with their trucks backing them in so that their back ends and their trailer hitches are halfway over the sidewalk. And I thank you for, I guess most recently, issuing some parking tickets. We find them regularly torn up and spread around. I'm sorry, I'm being cynical about it. But I know in other places where there's a lot of construction, this is really a big, big problem. So I just want to know, just in general, what are you trying to do, and how could we who live near these things kind of help with this situation?
Sure, so what parking is doing, we're working with the building managers to make sure that they're abiding by their staging plans. And if they're not, we're actually out there daily, and we actually have ramped up our enforcement efforts and our routes in order to try to actually catch these violators. So again, I understand if they back up, they're over into the sidewalk. But if they pull in forward, then their hitch is too far out in the street. So it's one of those things where, and we understand when we go over there, if they're actively loading or unloading, we understand that, but we just try to make sure and ensure that they don't park illegally and stay there long term. So we try to actually still work with the construction workers, because I understand that you have to make deliveries, you have to drop things off, but you have to move on at the same time when you're done. So it's just one of those balancing acts where we're trying to find that median, and also while making sure that we're enforcing all of the parking ordinances as well. So, but we're actively throughout there on a daily basis, at least 3 to 4 times a day.
Dan,
I was wondering if,
oops, here, I'm not sure it's on. Oh, battery's dead on this one.
I'll just speak loudly,
here,
because real
let's-
quick question. Okay.
Is, for gateless parking, is SunPass a potential option?
So I'll have to look into that. That was not something that I envisioned when I went to gateless. I know with the gates, there's actually something that we can actually do, but again, the Park Mobile Wallet, which will be something similar to the SunPass, is that you can actually prepay and it actually deducts, right? But it's not gonna be where you actually pay on the way out. You actually have to pay as you're doing your parking session. So the Park Mobile Wallet, where you can actually prepay, is something that's comparable to the SunPass.
All right, over here.
Thank you. Kathy Kelly Ulrich, alternate for Glen Oaks Ridge.
You're not supposed to speak, you're not supposed to speak.
I'm the alternate for Glen
No,
Oaks.
only the delegate, only one person. Have him ask the question.
Well, I already asked him if he wanted to speak on parking, and he said no.
Go.
Never mind.
Never mind.
Kevin, ask the
I don't
question.
know the question. Have her talk to you.
Yes.
Never mind, I'll talk to Broxton later.
Excellent, thank you.
You should check the rules.
Yeah, she can talk.
I think it's only the delegate.
Vote.
Jim,
It's just for the vote.
you're the king of the bylaws, what do they say?
Valerie, you're up.
Yes,
Name?
Valerie from SHA Resident Council. We have a lot of veto bikes in the community. However, the trolley that even as I've seen that take citizens from one end to another on the beach, well, are they not allowed to come to North Sarasota more than just 41, but into the community?
You're talking about the Bay Runner trolley?
Yes.
Yes, it's actually, the Bay Runner trolley is actually a fixed route. It's an FDOT route. It actually replaced SCAT, or now the Breeze. It was actually 2 bus routes that this trolley actually replaced. So in that regard, is definitely a fixed route, and it can't be deviated from.
So no town is omitted from.
Again, that would be, maybe someone else from the city could probably assist with that, but I can definitely look into it and get back with you and see what the process is for actually requesting new routes.
On this side.
I got it.
Okay.
Oh, I don't need that, I've got a big desk.
Yeah, it helps with the recording, Joyce.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Sure. No, over my bronchitis, which wasn't really catchy. Joyce Cloutier, Harbor Acres. What was the real purpose increasing or decreasing the 1 hour, 2 hour to 1 hour? Was it to generate money? Because I see that as a real detriment to the businesses downtown.
Sure. So again, no, it was not to generate money. It was just to make, to number one, create turnover in the garages. And also, we were actually looking at the abuse. We actually had a lot of people that utilized the garage that were employees that would actually come out and they would move their vehicles. If they were employees, they would move their vehicles every 2 hours. They would come out, get another ticket, and come back in. That way they didn't have to pay for parking. So it's a lot more difficult to abuse the system when it's 1 hour.
But don't you think it really discourages people coming into the city? I know I can't eat a dinner in an hour or less. Or, even if you go shopping, if I'm going shopping downtown, say with another woman, I'm going to spend more than an hour. I think it really is a detriment to people coming downtown.
So the response to that is that we have almost 600 2-hour and 3-hour on-street spaces for that are timed. So everyone's saying that we're taking away 2 hours from the garage, but we actually have 600 spaces actually on the street. Now they're not on Main Street. You might have to go to 1 block over, but we actually do have plenty of 2-hour parking spaces for those that still want 2-hour. Actually, we have some 3-hour spaces in some neighborhoods as well.
Okay.
And again, for those that, like you said, you're gonna be a lot longer, it's $1 an hour more. So if you're there for 2 hours, it'll just now be that additional.
Okay, we have time for one more question, Joyce. Anybody over here? Do we have a question over here? Over here? I guess that was, okay, thank you.
Thank you all for
Thank you,
having me.
Brian. Marlon's coming up. He has a presentation that we need to kill this one. If you would come. There we go. This will take a second to load, folks. And you want our. Do we need, I don't think we need an introduction for this character. Thank you. Marlon.
All right, good morning, everyone. How are y'all doing this morning? Good morning. All right. I have a presentation that I would like to bring forward to the Coalition of City Neighborhood Associations that I'll be bringing forward to the City Commission on April the 15th. I think this is probably one of the most impactful projects that the city is going to undertake. I think it sort of equals some of the things that this commission has done in the past. I mean, how many of you recall the commission reducing the millage 2 years in a row, keeping it stable 2 years in a row, which impacts your bottom line, keeping more money in your pocket with inflationary costs going up? This commission, if they were to approve this, will be as impactful as that. Bobby Jones, the golf course and the nature park. Carl Shop Store, the renourishment of Lido Beach, the phase 1 of Bay Park, the splash pad that has just been opened. No homicides in 2023, reduction in crime rate by 16%. And when we talk about homicide, no homicides in 2023, the last time we had 0 was in 1967. In 1967. This commission, unprecedented, added 10 officers outside of the regular budget cycle. And that approval has impacted what we're seeing today in terms of crime rates. This commission also, in terms of what they're doing for the homeless situation in the city of Sarasota, since 2015, a 79% reduction in chronic homelessness. Now, individuals may see one individual here and there, we still get the complaints about that. But that's a commitment to funding the homeless outreach team, for the counseling that we provide these individuals, trying to get them the services that they need on a daily basis. But the point-in-time survey over the since 2015 has gone down. And that's a result of the impacts this commission and decisions this commission has made. And if this were to be approved, what I'm going to show you will equal that impact. So I'm going to go ahead and, Richard, am I doing this or are you, Richard, am I doing this or are you doing this?
Yeah, no, you're doing it. Or do you need help?
It'll be good. All right, this is an opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to provide close to 400 working individuals in our downtown area. 400 working individuals. We talk about the individuals who work here not being able to live here. And if we move forward with a project like this, we can have 400 individuals such as police officers, nurses, teachers, wait staff, bank tellers, living and enjoying everything our downtown has to offer. And here's how we intend to do it. Right now in our downtown zoning, the allowed density and height, 50 units an acre and 10 stories. What we are proposing to do is utilizing two legislative programs and policies, one that was approved by the state of Florida and one that was just approved by the City Commission, to see if we can enhance that opportunity. So we'll be using the City of Sarasota Affordable Housing Density Bonus and the State of Florida Live Local Act. The State of Florida Live Local Act basically allows that any facility or any building that's within 1 mile of the highest building, you can utilize at height. If you recall, our density bonus program that was just approved by the Commission allows up to 4 times the density in our downtown area. So we're going to be utilizing that. So with that, it will give us 200 units an acre, and we can go up to about 18 stories. But I would not necessarily be using the 18-story height situation. What I would be asking the Commission to do is to assemble a couple of properties across from City Hall. If you know where City Hall is located on First Street, right across from City Hall, there is the Sarasota First Street Credit Union. There is a kitchen cabinet place at 1544 First, and then there is a CPA office right at the corner of Orange and First. The city owns 1530, which is a parking lot, a paid parking lot. And so what we are asking the Commission to do is allow us to acquire 1544, the kitchen cabinet building, and also the CPA building. We were in negotiations with the credit union, but they have decided not to participate in the purchase of their programs, in this program. Now, one of the things that I must share with you is that none of these businesses had a for sale sign. So we actually had to approach them to inquire whether they had an interest in selling to the city. And because of what we are trying to do in terms of creating attainable, affordable housing for individuals, they basically agreed to sell their properties to the city. So with our city-owned property at 1530, city-owned property at 1544, and then 1590, we are coming up with a concept that we're asking the Commission to consider. So this is going to be the building concept. We're asking the Commission to consider 2 residential towers of mixed use. It'll be ground floor commercial, 3 levels of parking, and then 8 stories of residential affordable units. If to kind of basically orient you, Orange Avenue is to your, if you are facing the screen, Orange Avenue is to your left. The credit union is in the middle, and then the Corona, the famous Corona establishment is over to your right. The building concept shows it's 2 12-story towers, and again, using the Live Local, right now 10 stories is allowed in the downtown, using the Live Local Act by the state of Florida, which allows us to go as high as 18 stories. We'll be asking the Commission to consider conceptually going up to 12 stories to give us the number of units that we're looking for, as well as the density that we are going to be utilizing using the affordable housing density bonus. The good thing about not being able to acquire the credit union is that instead of having this massive block of residential, kind of similar to what you see at the Mark, maybe, and again, I'm not trying to criticize anyone's development, but like Cityside, it allows us to break up the building and to allow air and light in between by building 2 towers. The cross-section, as you can see here, this is the alley coming off of Orange Avenue. The cross-section shows you down at the bottom how the project will look, looking west from Orange Avenue. So what we are proposing, again, two 12-story buildings. It will allow us to put about 192 residential units in the building, again, using the 200 units per acre density bonus. It will allow us to put about 15,000 square feet of ground commercial space, a parking garage with 280 spaces, 12 surface parking spaces, and 7 on-street spaces. One of the things that, again, even though we have 192 units and 280 parking spaces, with affordable housing, you are really allowed half a parking space per unit. Even if we do one space per unit, it gives us an additional number of spaces that can be used for public parking. We've always heard, Joyce just mentioned, public parking. There's always, this demand for public spaces and public parking, especially close to Main Street. So this gives us the ability to create some public parking spaces for the public in this facility. So again, just to orient you, City Hall is to the top of the screen. This is, across from First Street. This is how, looking at an aerial, the buildings will fit. As you can see, Corona is to, the side of the screen. Orange Avenue is to the far, to the far right. The buildings obviously will be fronting First Street and the alley to the rear. And this is just to give you an aerial concept of how it would look. And then I'll, if I can go back. Again, looking at the buildings, this is how they fit from across City Hall. And if you go back to the aerial, this gives you a better perspective of how it will be positioned across from City Hall. And then Main Street is down to the bottom of the screen. That was the ground floor that you saw in the previous screen. This is the first level of parking as you enter through, and again, this is conceptual, but as you enter from the, from the alley, or if you enter from First Street, you'd be able to go up the ramp to the parking on the first level in both towers. This is the second level, and I'll just quickly run through these two. That's the third level, and then you get to the residential units. And this is how they would be positioned, and then I will show you on the next slide the number of units that each floor will hold. All right, so this is the test fit for each building. The West Tower, which is the tower that is closest to the Corona facility, there'll be about 8,000 square feet of commercial space. A typical residential floor would be about 14,000 square feet. There right now, again, conceptually, the way that we have it is about 5 2-bedroom units, 7 1-bedroom units, 1 studio, again, 3 levels of parking with 155 spaces, and then 8 residential levels with about 101 units. And again, the mix of the units, this is just based on the individuals that we have working on this, and then talking to organizations such as the Sarasota Housing Authority, Castle, and some others in terms of what is the need in terms of the mix of units, and this is what they've come up with. Now, individuals have talked about, wow, they're like 3 bedrooms or more 3 bedrooms, etc. Again, this is conceptual right now, so by the time I'm done with presenting this to the City Commission, by the time we take a look at this in more detail, the mix of units may change, but we'll work on that later on. East Tower, kind of similar. We have about 7,000 square feet of commercial space, and then the typical residential floors kind of mirrors what we see on the West Tower. This is a further breakdown of each one of the towers. Again, and the thing about it, and the reason for this slide is that as you go higher with the residential units, the mix as you get past the 8th floor also sort of changes because of how we have the buildings configured. So again, typical floor, about 12,000 square feet in residential, 5 two-bedroom units on each floor, 5 one-bedroom units, one studio, 3 levels of parking on 8 residential levels. And then as you get up to the additional 5 floors, you have 11 units on each one of the floors, 5 two-bedrooms, 5 one-bedrooms, 1 studio, for a total of 55 on those 5 floors, 91 on the first 8 floors. So, all in all, you'll have this one is 91 units, as I mentioned. You'll have 5 floors with 55 units, and then 4 floors with 36 units. On the west tower, a similar breakdown. You'll have about 65 units on 5 floors, and then you have an additional 36 units on 3 floors. And that will give you the 101 units. So the 101 plus the 91 gives you the 192 units that you have of residential. Again, this is sort of a breakdown of how we are utilizing the affordable density bonus. Again, the base density based on the acreage that we have will only give us 48 units total. But again, utilizing the affordable housing density bonus that the commission approved gives us an additional 144, whereby gets us a total of 192. Because we're using the affordable density bonus, that requires that 15% of the units are broken down by 1/3, 1/3, 1/3 of the area median income, 80% below, 1/3 below 80%, 1/3 between 80 and 100, and 1/3 between 100 and 120. And so by using that breakdown, 8 units have to be below 80, 7 have to be between 80 and 100, and an additional 7 between 100 to 120. Those 22 units, will be the ones to comply with that affordable density bonus. However, the rest of them could be, however the commission wants to mix it. We're going to recommend that they remain 80 and above, and I'll let you know the reason for that shortly. Okay, the price for the properties. Right now, based on the offers that we are providing, the cost to purchase the properties are probably just about 7.1 million for both properties. We have 7.4 million because there's some fees and closing costs that's associated with that. So I'll be recommending to the commission that that they allow us to purchase these properties for 7.4 million. One of the things that I've done is I've engaged the philanthropic community to see if they can assist in the purchase of these properties. I have engaged the Gulf Coast Community Foundation, the Community Foundation of Sarasota County, and the Branstad Foundation. And I will tell you that I am, really, really excited that they have been willing to come to the table. The Branstad Foundation has already committed 1.5 million to the purchase of these properties. The Community Foundation of Sarasota County are working on 1.5 million, as well as the Gulf Coast Community Foundation is working on contributing 1.5 million. So those 3 foundations, that's about 4.5 million that they will be contributing, hopefully, to the purchase of these properties. And then I'll be requesting that the commission fund the shortfall to get us to the 7.4 million. One of the things that we have done in the past since 2008, we have established an affordable housing trust fund. That sits right now at just over $2 million. We also have some additional funding. Actually, let me take that back. I think that's now sitting at 4 million, right, Steve? That's sitting at 4 million. So I'm going to be also requesting that the commission utilize funding from that affordable housing trust fund specifically for this project, depending on the shortfall that we come up with. Again, you'll have seen this before, so I'm not going to go through this. This is basically the breakdown of the maximum rents based on the area median income that we'll be targeting for these units.
Can you say what those numbers are, please?
We'll get them to you.
Again, yeah, we'll get this to you. Again, one person, depending on the area median income and where they fall, if they fall below 80, if they fall, below 100, or if they fall below 120. If it's a 1 person, 2 person, 3 person, or 4 person unit, these are the rents, including utilities that we'll be targeting for these units. Again, some of you may have seen this. These are the individuals that we are targeting based on the area median income and their salaries. So again, this is sort of the timeline. We have a target of March 2024. Obviously, we're in April to sign the contracts. The sellers have signed the contracts. The contracts are included in the City Commission agenda packet for the April 15th meeting for both properties. Our plan is to bring those signed contracts to the Commission. Obviously, in April, that's what we'll be doing. We'll be establishing some partnership agreements with nonprofits and other government agencies who have agreed to partner with us in this project. Obviously, the next steps will be the design timeframes, city procuring project development manager to manage this project. Again, I am a city manager. I don't manage these types of projects, so we'll have to engage a professional who can do this. Just like everyone else, I have to go through the development review committee process and planning board. I don't get a break. Ms. Panica always tells me I need my permits, and she tells me no sometimes, even though I'm the city manager, and I threaten her job, but she still ignores me. Project design will probably take 6 to 8 months, city permitting another 3 to 4 months, and then construction hopefully by mid-2025, and that can take 24 months. And again, just to summarize, this is a promising opportunity for to get 400 working class individuals living right off of Main Street, enjoying everything our downtown has to offer. Right now, these individuals are, living in Parish, Northport. Even Northport is getting expensive. Arcadia. This is an opportunity to get these individuals right back into the heart of the city, right in the just off of Main Street. The proposed plan, 2 12-story residential buildings with 192 units. Again, this can possibly change, again, depending on how many units we can really try to achieve. One of the things about Live Local, as I mentioned, we can go as high as 18 stories. That is not my intent, but there's been a push to see how many more units we can get in here. One of the things that I foresee, and we'll have a discussion with the Commission, is if you are familiar with the Bank of America building or the Wells Fargo building, that's about 18 stories right there at the corner of Orange and Main. Maybe the East Tower can be a little bit higher. Maybe instead of 12 stories, maybe we can go up to 14 or 15 stories, and then tear it down to the 12 stories as you come to the west. But that will give us probably an additional 30 to 40 units if we can go up a little bit higher. And again, creating more opportunities for our workforce. Again, one of the intent is to also sell the ground floor commercial space, take that money and put it back into the project. My vision for this is that we will issue what we call revenue bonds to build this. We're estimating that these 2 buildings will cost somewhere in the vicinity of $70 to $80 million. By the ability to sell the ground floor commercial space, we're able to put that money back into the project, reduce our costs. I'll also be trying to engage other governmental entities in terms of being a part of this project. The more money that I can get in terms of donations, the more money I can get in terms of other organizations contributing to this, the less money I have to borrow, the less money I have to pass on to the renters, the ability to keep the rents down, the ability to attract individuals to not only work here, but to live here. So again, I have 10 recommendations. I'm not going to go through all of these recommendations that I'll be recommending to the City Commission. It's in the agenda packet. Take a look at it, and I hope that I can get CCNA support. Come out on April the 15th, wear your red shirts or blue shirts or yellow shirts in support of this project. But this is a very, very, very promising project that I believe will be very impactful to the city of Sarasota. I have been here since 2009. We've spoken about affordable housing, Nothing has been done in my 15 years, or almost 15 years that I've been here, in terms of affordable housing. If we can't do this, I don't know what else we can do. Government is going to be criticized about getting in the affordable housing business. We are not. The intent is to create an opportunity whereby we'll, build some affordable units. I'll be requesting that the commission issue an RFP to get a management company to manage this on our behalf. And our hope is that we'll have 400 individuals sometime in 2025, 2026, living right off of Main Street. I'll open up to any questions you may have.
You got his hand up first.
Thank you, Marlon. Kevin Spence, Indian Beach Sapphire Shores. City Manager Brown, this is a admirable project, and we all support trying to find attainable housing for our working people. My question is it seems that, am I correct that the city of Sarasota will be owning this building and therefore accepting a risk position? And what is the precedent for this happening in other cities?
Great question, Kevin. So, yes, so the conversation that I will probably be having with the commission, obviously we have some foundations that will be part of the funding of this, maybe other governmental entities, is to create that partnership agreement where we all have, sort of a piece of this pie. So yes, it will be publicly owned or government owned. The intent is by creating that partnership agreement, this project or these properties will in perpetuity be always affordable. It would, one entity would not be able to say, you know what, we are not in this program anymore. We want to flip it to to the private sector and make these all market rate. I want it to be, and again, I know I have commissioners sitting here. I wanted to take an act of God to switch this over to market rate housing, so that will always be affordable. So in terms of the risk that we're taking, one of the good things about the government is that we can issue what we call revenue bonds and use the rents to pay back that bond. I can issue that bond for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, because this will always be affordable. There will always be individuals who will be living here, renting here. The risk that we will take is the ability to pay back that bond. And so one of the reasons I'm going to recommend to the commission that we kind of stay away from making these, possibly the 80 and below, making a lot of these 80 and below, because with other affordable housing projects, there's a mix of market as well as the affordable units. The market rate units help cover the cost of the the affordable units. So by keeping this 80 and above, it gives me more of an opportunity to pay back that bond than having a lot of units below 80. The Sarasota Housing Authority, Castle, and some of those nonprofits do a good job of the 80 and below. The area that we're struggling with is the 80 to 120. And by keeping the rental rates at that level, it gives me more of ability, the city and the other nonprofits, more ability to pay back that bond.
What other cities are doing this?
I don't, we have done research. I don't think any other cities are doing this at 100%. They give incentives for developers and others to create more units, but not at this level.
All right, we are short on time. Okay.
Right here.
Anybody over on this side?
Thank you.
Ron?
Yep, thanks. Ron Cashton, Laurel Park. Marlon, you had mentioned when you were talking about the non-bonus units at trying to go, 80 to 120. Lofts on Lemon has been wildly successful. Everybody knows that. Is the tendency to keep it mostly at the 80 level? Do you think that that's possible, or do you think it's probably going to slide up to the 120?
No, the intent is to keep it at 120 and below.
I understand that, but you have the 120 to
80 to 120. Right.
But do you think
These are
on the bottom of that?
We got to move on, Ron.
No, it's just a single question, Richard. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Richard, I didn't hear the last part.
What I was trying to say is, in that range, do you think it can keep it on the bottom of that range rather than kind of sliding up to the top?
So we're doing a performer right now that will give us a better idea as to where to keep those units. So in concept, all I'm asking the commission is to approve this. If you look at my recommendations, I'll have to come back to the commission with more detail later on.
Thank you.
Yeah. Excellent, thank you. Okay, Anand and then Joyce. I got your name right this time.
Anand Palagar, Rosemary District. Marlon, I want to first and foremost thank you for bringing this to CCNA. I want to recognize what a bold and ambitious plan this is for the future of this community. What you are creating here is one of the biggest barriers to the success of the next generation of Sarasota, and I fully endorse and am absolutely wowed by this. I've had a front row seat to this as the Vice Chair of Gulf Coast Community Foundation, and you have the unanimous support of the Board of Gulf Coast, because this is such an important project that is going to define the next chapter. It's bold, it's ambitious, it's everything that this community needs, and I want to recognize you and your team for taking the risk and putting this thing together, and I can't wait to set an example, hopefully for other communities to follow us in doing this. Thank you.
And let me just make one, and Anand, it's not me. Without this city commission saying, Mr. Brown, go forward and do this, this would not be done. I blindly, and again, apologize commissioners, I blindly led them towards this because I did not share with them sort of what they envisioned, but they, put that trust in me. And if not for this commission and their bold decision to do this, to hire Ian Black, without, knowing what this would end up being, this would never occur. So thanks to, the mayor, vice mayor, and the commissioners for doing this.
All right, last question, Joyce.
Hi, Joyce Cloutier, Harbor Acres. I'm going to go back to the parking again. You're saying, realistically, you're saying we're going to bring people back from Northport and maybe out in Lakewood Ranch or whatever. If it's two people in an apartment and they're teachers or police or they work for the fire department, chances are they're going to have two cars, right? I mean, if they get a call that they have to go in immediately, they're not going to wait for a bus, realistically, right? So how is the parking going to work? I think you're going to be short on parking, and I also think, unfortunately, that it is going to impact downtown. I mean, when I go over Orange probably every other day, and there's a lot of traffic now. I can't imagine more traffic going on to Orange, so if you could address those issues.
And just quickly, Joyce, again, one parking space per unit. So if there are two cars, they'll have to find or pay for parking. And remember, we're right across from the transfer station, and so the hope is that individuals will also use, transit to get in and around. The good thing about being in downtown is that you have many options that you don't have in rural or suburban areas. And so that's
Thank
my
you, Joyce.
editorial. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Okay, back to business. We had a lot of information from the city today, and Larry, we will get that information to you personally. I've got a whole bunch of board members who will remind me to do that. Okay, I have nothing for a president's report. First Vice does not have anything. Membership, do we have anything to report?
Not really, but we did bring in our last neighborhood who were a little bit delinquent, so that's very, very good. And I thank everyone for paying their dues this year and sitting at the table. Thank you.
All right. I think I was told that this was the most delegates we've had at the table
In a long time.
in a long time. All right. Treasurer, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, our beginning balance was $6,833.09 on 2/23, and we had expenditures of $10, and we had deposits of $400. We are going to have an ending balance as of 4/3/2024 of $7,223.09. And I want to thank the District 1, 2, and 3 reps, as well as Joanne, for getting getting all the paperwork and everything filled out, and we're pretty much up to time. Thank you.
All right. I noticed I skipped adoption of the minutes again, and we'll do that before we get to the delegate reports. Is there a motion to accept the minutes from March 2nd? Is that right? March 2nd?
Yes, March 2nd. I move.
Hugh? Hugh has moved. Marissa is second. Is there any other discussion? By unanimous consent, we've adopted the minutes from March. Very good. Delegate, pardon? I will do that right. I will say this again at the end during neighborhood reports. If you want the report in the minutes, you've got to send a note to me or to Daniel. Or please. District 1. Anything to report? Where are you at?
Oh, hey, I'm back here. Sorry. You know what? This is the most amazing meeting. I've never seen this many people here. It's so awesome. And I just want to say thank you. Every single District 1 neighborhood is here. I love you guys. You're awesome. I was doing a little research this last few weeks on how to get more people to come to our neighborhood meetings. And I discovered that almost all of us have a Facebook page, and almost none of us post our meetings on our Facebook page. And you have hundreds and hundreds of followers, so I'd like to suggest, if you're not doing it already, to start putting your meeting notices on your Facebook pages. Thank you.
All right. District 2. Where are you at? There you are.
I'm over here. No report, but we turned our meetings into happy hours and it upped our membership.
All right. District 3.
I'll keep it short and sweet.
Hi, Flo Entland, District 3. I want to thank Norm Dumaine for inviting me to their March, Board of Directors meeting, or the HOA meeting. And I will keep it there because last month I think I took Leslie's 2 minutes when I reported on Alta Vista, so I apologize for that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Okay, on to old business. In the information that you have, you were given, is the proposed position statement about the commercialization and privatization of City of Sarasota parks. This is what you asked me to do. I want to thank Charlie and Norm. Norm is not there. There's Norm down there, who did a lot of preliminary work in getting my head around how we need to say this. Very much thank you guys. I need a motion to approve this.
So moved.
Valerie from SHA and moves to Valerie. Oh, I forgot your last name. Thank you. Went right out of my head. And Jody Geiger seconded the motion. Is there any discussion? David.
Why is this just specific to Ken Thompson Park and Ryan?
I don't see this as specific to Ken Thompson Park.
That's what it says.
No, it says in the context of. In the context of the proposed development at Ken Thompson Park, the member associations of CCNA oppose any such use that diminishes free and public use of our city parks.
Well, read the whole thing.
Yeah, read the whole thing.
Or is a liability on the surrounding neighborhoods or the city. Any planned development to add or change our parks should enhance the free and public use thereof and be an asset to the surrounding neighborhoods and to the city.
Okay.
Okay.
The intent is a more generic.
Yes.
Kind of policy. Okay.
All right. And your name is right out of my head. I'm looking right at
Wait a minute, we gotta get the mics.
Yeah, I get the mics. Rob Graham. Finally.
Hello, Rob Grant, Arlington Park neighborhood. I just, make sure this is on the record, because we do have 3 commissioners here.
Speak up.
3 commissioners got this to where we are today. So, just remind everybody, when we presented this at our neighborhood last month, it was unanimous. Nobody wants this at Ken Thompson Park. When this was presented here before we went to the neighborhoods, every single neighborhood here was against this. So again, there are 3 commissioners here right now. Yet somehow, even though 3 commissioners saw this unanimity, we're still here today. So I just want to remind everybody of that there's 3 commissioners here. Nobody is for this. Thank you.
Larry, Mike's coming, Larry. There you are.
Hi, Larry Silverman's Alta Vista. Is this subject, can we amend the wording at all, or it's an up or down vote right now?
I think we're an up or down vote. It would, what are you suggesting? Let's ask that first.
Just to specify something like natural space or green space, add those words somewhere in there to specify what the general intent of a park should be.
It would mean that we would have to send this back for approval. This is a coalition. Marissa?
Marissa Dawson, Central Coconut. I do support the way this is written, and I'll tell you, it says the beginning is Ken Thompson Park, but I think in the future, because we know this is going to happen again in the future, the developers are looking to take every bit of green space they can find and build on it. So by having this saying that we want to support our city parks should have a free and public use, and that any liability to the surrounding neighborhood is what we're against. I think that'll cover us for not only Ken Thompson, but for future parks that they're going to be going after. So that's just my opinion.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I was going to say that, actually. Okay. I'm going to close discussion. We are going to have a roll call vote for this. Because I want people to understand what our position is. So I'm going to ask our secretary, and you need a microphone, sir. Oh, you have? Okay. All right. So, please. No. No, Dan, yeah, call the roll. Dan calls the roll, yeah.
Alta Vista Neighborhood Association?
We vote yes, approved.
Amaryllis Park Neighborhood Association?
Yes. Repeat your
I'm sorry, Alta Vista votes yes. Amaryllis Park votes yes. Arlington Park Neighborhood Association? Arlington Park votes yes. Avondale Residents Association? Not here. Bay Island Siesta Association? Thank you. Bayou Oaks Neighborhood Association?
Yes.
Bayou Oaks votes yes. Bay Point Park Neighborhood Association?
Yes.
Bay Point Park votes yes. Bird Key Improvement Association? Okay, Bird Key? Okay, Bird Key votes yes. It says Bird Key, that's just the name on here, but we can change that. Broadway Promenade Condominium Association?
Yes.
Broadway Promenade votes yes. Central Coconut Neighborhood Association?
Yes.
Central Coconut votes yes. Cherokee Park Homeowners Association?
No.
Absent, okay. Downtown Sarasota Condo Association?
Yes.
Votes yes. Whoops, sorry about that. Fox. Gillespie Park Neighborhood Association.
Yes.
Gillespie Park votes yes. Glen Oaks Estates Homeowners Association.
Yes.
Glen Oaks Estates votes yes. Glen Oaks Ridge Owners Association.
Yes.
Glen Oaks Ridge votes yes. Golden Gate Point Association.
Yes.
Golden Gate Point votes yes. Granada Neighborhood Association. Not present? Okay. Or the, okay. Okay, put that one we can call. Put the other red one. Call. Okay, thank you. Harbor Acres Community Association.
Yes.
Harbor Acres votes yes. Hudson Bayou Neighborhood Association.
Yes.
Hudson Bayou votes yes. Indian Beach Sapphire Shores Association.
Yes.
Indian Beach Sapphire Shores votes yes. Laurel Park Neighborhood Association.
Yes.
Laurel Park votes yes. Lido Key Residents Association.
Yes.
Lido Key votes yes. Lido Shores Property Owners Association.
Yes.
Lido Shores votes yes. McClellan Park Neighborhood Association, that's me, vote yes. Park East Community Association.
Yes.
Park East votes yes. Plymouth Harbor Residents Association.
Yes.
Plymouth Harbor votes yes. Rosemary District Association.
Yes.
Rosemary votes yes. San Remo Estates Association.
That's yes.
San Remo Estates votes yes. Sarasota Housing Authority Residents Council.
Yes.
Sarasota Housing Authority Residents Council votes yes. Shoreland Woods South Poinsettia Park Neighborhood Association.
Votes yes. Approved.
South Poinsettia Park votes yes. St. Armand's Residents Association.
Votes yes.
St. Armand's votes yes. Tahiti Park Neighborhood Association.
Yes.
Tahiti Park votes yes. And Towels Court Neighborhood Association.
Votes yes.
Towels Court votes yes.
Whatever the number is, it's 2-0.
Yeah, so that we have 29 yes votes and 0 nay votes.
And it has passed unanimously. And this this is a strong message from us. It also gives me a lot of leverage when I sit down with these 3 people and the 5 and get in front of the 5 people on the park board, on prep board. If they ever get to have this on the agenda, I'm going to say the neighborhoods are unanimously against this sort of improvement. Thank you. That's what we needed.
Hey, Richard, isn't this on the prep board agenda for April 18th?
Yes.
But we don't know whether it's a presentation or an item for vote.
Yeah, it is. It's on the agenda already.
It is. Is there going to be public input?
3 minutes.
Yes.
Yes, 3
Be there.
minutes.
So they are going to make a recommendation.
That's what this flyers has. So.
All right. So I will be communicating with you guys about to remind you we need you there. Okay. So thank you. Okay. Moving on. What happened to my other piece of paper here, folks? Right here we go. Is there any new business that we need to discuss or we need to discuss in the future that you guys want to bring up right now? I forgot to add this little agenda item on here, but if you think of something later, send me an email. I do read president at sarasota.ccna.org. I cannot send from that yet. There's something goofy with my computer, and Jim and I have not figured it out yet, but I will get it if you have something you need to speak to. Okay, for discussion, you then have the strategic initiatives. Do I have one of those? Yes, here we go. All right, So I went through, after a lot of work, Ron Cashton back there, thank you for your help. Kathy was, Jim, and the other board members. Yeah, Kelly, Flo, helped with this. I pulled out some things that I knew that we could be successful at. So, for the membership initiatives, or our strategic initiative, in health and safety, it's compatibility in the neighborhood with pedestrian, bicycle, and vehicular traffic. So that, this sheet. Now this is an ongoing committee with Norm, Carl, the curly one right there, Lou, myself, and Joanne. We have been talking with Public Works, specifically Nick and Alvy, how to make, one of the things we're working on is the warrant to make that more neighborhood friendly, which we seem to get them listening to us. The other is healthy air quality, which is a big issue in north part of the city. Code, noise. A lot of people were concerned about noise control, and of course, vacation rentals is a big problem in the city. And in terms of meaningful input, it was development review, input, and interaction, which we just had a short presentation from Lucia, and compatibility of the development with the neighborhoods. So the thing now, you guys, this was your input. We need help to get them done. You're going to have to step up. And so what I'm going to ask you is, if you are interested in working on one of these initiatives, highlight it, circle it, underline it on this piece of paper, put your name and your phone number and your neighborhood on the piece of paper, and leave it here today.
Actually, pass it up to us.
And we'll start organizing. We do need to move forward with these things. I mean, you guys spend a lot of effort, and these guys spend a lot of effort trying to get to this point. Okay, any questions about that? Any questions? Okay, let's move on then to the last piece, neighborhood reports. And if we could ask the inimitable Patrick Robinson to come up, please. So remember, let's see, we're at 10:40. We're going to go, everybody okay if we go a little over? Please remember to keep your comments to 2 minutes or less. Yeah, let's start. No, just start right off. Go, start off, Marissa.
All right, Marissa Dawson, Central Coconut. Number one, real quick, every voter in the city is against the development of Ken Thompson Park. Let me repeat that again. Every voter in the city is against Ken Thompson Park development. Thank you. Next, we're in the middle of updating our bylaws. Fascinating, fun stuff. We're going to be having a vote on the updated bylaws on our annual meeting, April 18th, 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Center for Arts and Humanity. A very terrible date because it does conflict with the Ken Thompson Park issue. We are working on our PayPal and Constant Contact to, collect dues and speak with our members. And personally, on my end, I raise a lot of monarch butterflies. So if anybody has milkweed that they want to adopt a few of my kids, or if anybody wants to give me or sell me some of their milkweed or take some of my kids, that would be great. It's got nothing to do with Central Coconut. It's my own initiative but I'm raising hundreds right now, trying to repopulate our monarch population. Thank you.
Jessie here from Lido Key Residents Association. Our association has been very busy. On March 16th, we held the members meeting. We had 2 agenda items. One was ancient history of Sarasota. Our guest speaker was John McCarthy, Vice President of Regional History for Marie Selby Botanical Gardens, presented a passionate and entertaining account of the ancient history of the Sarasota region beginning 12,000 years ago. John also presented a brief update on the activities and construction at Marie Selby Botanical Garden. He is a very, very entertaining historian. If you ever get a chance, please listen to him. And secondly, we had one of our members give a presentation on South Lido Park on health and safety issue. The comments were provided by County Commissioner Mark Smith and Sarasota PD. Thankfully, those issues were noted by Sarasota PD, and the residents have seen a tremendous improvement. And yeah, last night.
Okay. 2 minutes.
Oh, I'm done?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay.
You're half baked.
I'm sorry.
Reject 2 minutes. You have to do it.
2 minutes. 2 minutes, kids.
Good morning, Hugh Fiore from St. Armand's. All is well out at St. Armand's. We're looking, maybe going through some transition of people. There's about 19 properties for sale out of the 150 sites there, so we're kind of keeping our eye on the transition. We had a transition during COVID. Maybe we're going through another one, we're not sure. We certainly support CCNA, and all of our residents support against privatization of any parks within the city limits. So that's our strong position. There is a special commission meeting on special events ordinance on Monday, and we don't know.
It's a
really-
workshop, it's not a meeting. It's a workshop. Yeah, so there's no public comment, but all of that will come forward to the commission at a later date, so you can listen in. All the backup is already online. So the workshop on Monday will be 2 hours, 9 to 11, and then that item will come back as directed with changes to the commission. However, I can tell you Jen Jorgensen, our special events team, will be having public input, and so if you have any concerns, I'll get you her information through Richard and the website, so you guys can weigh in if you have ideas or conversations.
Can come in and sit in on.
Well, anybody can except you, but that's fine.
Okay. Thanks.
That's fine.
Pat, I always
Hugh, you're
appreciate
out.
the support.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Obviously, we have a park at St. Armand's that's very much a part of our community, and under full disclosure, I will tell you that I'm also a board member of the Merchant Association. So personally, I have a big interest in keeping parks as parks. Thank you.
Dennis Bischoff, Lido Shores. I'm responsible for this little flyer. So April 18th. April 18th, the prep board is going to hear the presentation by Ride Entertainment. It's at 5:30. Need everybody's support. They do have open comments, so if you want to talk, please. If you just want to be there, showing your support would be great. But I think we're going to nail this one, okay? But we need everybody's support to continue that effort. Thank you.
Jerry Fagan, Glen Oaks Ridge, no comment.
Tom Caffrey from South Point Center Park. We're having on May 8th on our yearly meeting, which we're going to have elections for board's members. We're also, it's going to be held at Tsunami Restaurant on Hillview. During the meeting, we're going to update residents on our neighborhood lighting project and street beautification efforts. And we have also invited, and I believe they're both going to attend the incumbent and challenger for the city commission to speak to our residents and answer any questions. And that's it.
Alta Vista, Larry Silvermans. I'm here today with our delegate, Leslie Spengler. Our vice president is over there, Jay Portman, stand up. We might have other Alta Vista people here. Very important website, change.org/Payne Park Stage Free. So we had a meeting recently. It was an unusually large attendance, especially because of the agenda item that Payne Park, our key city park, is under attack again, similar to how the orchestra tried to take over a huge piece of our green space. Group that was the Players, now they're calling themselves the Stage/Players, is proposing to take the original dance hall/auditorium building and expand it by at least 3 times, plus a whole lot of pavement. And the vast majority of Alta Vista Neighborhood Association at our meeting was against that. And the position that we just passed as CCNA says do not privatize public parks. And that's in keeping with this, because this is a private theater. It's not a city theater. It's a private organization and a group of other private organizations that are trying to pave over a lot of green space. We're fine with theaters, but not them paving over parkland, which is so precious to us. So once again, we urge everybody to go to this website and share it with your members. Change.org/Payne Park Stage Free. Thank you.
Hi, Randy Winters, Bird Key. I'll keep it short. Pat, just a reminder on lighting on Bird Key. I'm sure you have that in your notes. And then just an observation, it seems like there's been more patrolling around Bird Key and over the Ringling Bridge, more radaring, so we appreciate that. Thank you.
Good morning, Suzanne Waxman from Tolls Court. We have the same ongoing situations as everyone. Parking, traffic, construction. We have the huge construction project going on, which is on Washington and Adams. And I'm sure everybody kind of has been reading about that and hearing about it. We're still optimistic that things are going to go in a good direction. So I want to say have a great weekend.
Thank you. Ron Cashton, Laurel Park. Laurel Park's still having ongoing discussions with Benderson, and development is very important to us just because we're surrounded by downtown. But this leads into what Lucia presented earlier today. Anyone that hasn't seen it, Development Services has done an incredible workflow of their whole process, and that flow chart is, we find it absolutely critical. Our ask would be if part of that documentation could also include the standards of review for each of the different departments, so we have a better understanding of what the DRC does. Thank you.
Rhonda Manassi.
Yes.
Plymouth Harbor. I've been asked to just report that our CEO and project manager attended the community meeting at the Lutheran Church regarding the Little Ringling Bridge, and their major concern is whether the bridge will be elevated because of the rising sea level. I'm a member of the Executive Council of Residents Association, and we unanimously supported the no amusement park, etc. in the city island or any public.
Charlie Nagelschmidt, Broadway Promenade, no report.
Joyce Cloutier, Harbor Acres. On a high note, we're going to have our annual
sunset cocktail party this month. Isn't that nice? And we like police, but we don't see them very often on South Orange. And we would really love to see them more often to catch those speeders and the trucks that don't belong on our residential street. Lastly, Selby Gardens. They promised that there wasn't going to be, and I have that in writing, and I think it was spoken at the commission meeting where they got approval, that there wouldn't be any right turns onto South Orange out of the parking garage. Well, you know what? They reneged on that, and we'll see that every day, cars coming out, and it's an issue on the times where they have an event going on. So all I can say is, for other people, if you have a project going on and they promise things, don't believe it.
Ricky Lindsay, Bay Point Park Neighborhood Association. We're looking forward to our picnic next Sunday, and a thank you again to Nancy Kelly and to the city for helping make that possible with the tables and chair rentals and the grant. Thank you very much for that support. We're continuing to seek improvements to our small local neighborhood park with some additional trees, mainly to keep people from driving through the park. It's just amazing to me that people just decide they want to go from one street to the next, and rather than take a cross street, they just drive up the curb over the park, through the park, and down the other side. So we're hoping to, and we like the shade anyway, so we're working with the city park department to see what we can do about getting a couple of trees put in there to give us shade and keep people from driving through our little city park, which we hope never gets privatized. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Martha Horton, Hudson Bayou Neighborhood Association. We had our annual meeting on March the 16th at our little park on Pomelo Avenue, which we love very much. And Rob Patton gave a history of the neighborhood, which goes back over 100 years when it was first platted. And also our neighborhood unanimously is against the privatization of all parks, including Thompson Park. Thank you.
Hello, Rob Grant again, Arlington Park. Just a reminder to everyone that Saturday, April 27th from noon to 3, next to the playground in Arlington Park, we will have our annual springtime potluck picnic. So if you want to come, bring some food, or just stop by and grab a bite to eat. Let's see, at our last meeting, we've seen an increasing attendance at all of our meetings. I think we've had really good agendas, a lot of good information to share. At our last meeting, city staff came, Corinne from the transportation department, and talked about the traffic studies that we had done in our neighborhood on Hyde Park East and Floyd Street. We found on Hyde Park and East that they do qualify for some traffic calming. We did not qualify for that on Floyd Street, but they did find that there's some areas where they need of concern. We've got some additional signage, so thank you, Pat, very much for that. We did see, Pat, from last time, a decrease in buses for a couple of days. They're back. They've been back. And again, I realize public streets, they're gonna go through the neighborhood, but we've got these commercial buses, and the worst part is when they're on streets that we don't have sidewalks. That's where it's really bad. So if we could just at least convey that to them, to stay on the streets with sidewalks, because otherwise they're very, very narrow. And then if anybody saw Carrie Seidman's column yesterday about siesta and parking and construction, Pat, this one's for you too. 2400 block of Floyd Street. It's the Pink Floyd lots. This is where we had construction problems before. Almost 2 weeks ago, they tore up the sidewalk. This is 4 houses under construction in a row. Almost the entire block. They tore up the sidewalk 2 weeks ago. There's nothing to warn anyone. We have no sidewalk. It's just piles of dirt everywhere. And so I guess if Lucia's still here, I did see her back there, but I got you. For the building department and code compliance, construction in the neighborhoods is extremely disruptive, and we could use your help controlling the impact of that. Thank you, Richard. Appreciate it.
Norm DeMay,
Glen Oaks Estates. I'd like to give a shout out to Nick Patel. We had difficulty in terms of crossing Circus Boulevard. Now that the golf course and nature park are open, traffic on Circus Boulevard has increased tremendously. And getting across from Caliandra into the golf course and nature park is a dangerous situation. Nick came out with his staff of engineers, and they are going to create a crosswalk that's going to be a safe one that gets people across Circus Boulevard. And it may seem like a very simple project, oh, let's just stripe this. It isn't at all. It's a much more complicated process that involves making sidewalks ADA accessible, and it's really a longer, more difficult process than anyone might imagine. The second thing I just simply mention again, part of the Neighborhood Safety and Traffic Calming Committee. We've had great support from the staff. It's Nick and Albie Marie and Doug Jeffco. They've been attentive. They provided all kinds of information to us in terms of what's been happening in the city. They've provided us comparisons with other municipalities. They've been flexible. We appreciate very much and looking forward to the review that's taking place in terms of what is happening with neighborhood traffic calming and safety.
So thank you, Norm. You know, that project would have been done a couple weeks earlier if you hadn't demanded that your likeness be used on the crosswalk sign. You know, we have some flexibility, but you got to add time in for those custom jobs. So thank you.
Hi everybody, my name is Andres. I'm representing Park East today. Some of our updates are our next general membership meeting is May 21st at First Brethren Church at 6 p.m. We recently had two very distinct new neighborhood signs placed, slightly off the intersections of 10th Street and 301, also East Ave and Fruitville. So I don't know if you guys have seen those. Those are the new Park East signs. So thank you to Nancy Kelly with Neighborhood Services and to our city commissioners for the new signs. We are just about ready to send our new postcard mailers to all our residents and parties. These postcards will be bilingual and we'll be announcing our next meeting and providing a link to our website and Facebook page. Our website, by the way, is parkeastsrq.com. We are soliciting volunteers for our Park East Community Art Committee. This committee will be organizing resident-focused projects in Park East, starting with a neighborhood potluck-style gathering in Shenandoah Park. Interested parties can contact Maureen Chappelle. And that's about it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm David Lowe, DISCA president. We had a town hall earlier in the week, and Steve, thanks for being there. We had a good session. We've got that videoed, so I'd encourage some of you to look at it. I think it was quite good. I recently attended the Bay Park Improvement Board meeting on the 29th, and I must say I left disheartened. The discussion surrounding the availability of TIF funds for the architectural work for the Performing Arts Center was unfortunately tabled. I, along with many at DISCA, wholeheartedly support the establishment of a new Performing Arts Center, given that there's a sound business plan, and support the idea of going ahead with the architect being hired. I'm going to be attending Hamilton this afternoon, and the fact that we've had to wait 7 years for that to come to Sarasota is largely based on the scale of the theater. The fixed costs just don't work at 1,700 and change seats. We've got to have a better facility. Arts and culture aren't just nice to have, they're essential components of our city's identity. We're screwing around with this. It could take forever. These cultural elements are economic drivers and play a significant role in attracting younger residents and keeping you here. TIF funds are available and significant. One of our guest speakers in the speakers series used the term, the quote, "What are you going to do with all of your prosperity?" Well, I think a new performing arts center is such an area to invest that prosperity in our future. Thank you.
Kevin Spence, Indian Beach, Sapphire Shores. Shout out to Click to Fix, and Pat, thanks for your assistance. We had a crosswalk that's been repaired and a storm drain that's been repaired all within 30 days, so thank you very much for that. Also, to draw everybody's attention to the city program, Sarasota Shines. It's the opportunity for us to compliment city staff on the work they do. And so if you go to the website, you can give a shout out to an individual employee that's helped you out. And as a former city employee in another town, it's really great for morale, and I highly encourage everybody to do it. Thank you.
Good morning. Mary Butler with Amaryllis Park Neighborhood Association. We celebrated our spring fling last Saturday, actually, parade, and it was amazing. So a special thanks to our city commissioners who came out and supported us. Also to our City of Sarasota Police Department. They just were amazing. You know, it was really good to see us all come together and help celebrate Newtown. I had a wonderful time. I enjoyed it. The food was great. We had vendors out there. The parade itself was great. It got extended, which made it even better. It went all the way from Osprey Avenue to MLK Park. And I volunteered, and as we were riding around helping people out, you know, you could just see the families lined up with their chairs and stuff, and they were just excited to have this parade. For those of you who don't know, this used to be an event that happened in Newtown annually, and then it went away for about 20 years. And so some individuals that care so much about it was Easter Parade, they brought it back. And so we've been able to collaborate with the City of Sarasota and our police department. Also Public Works, you know, came out. And so we've been able to bring it back. And this is year number 2. And I would like to report there were no incidents at all. But we had several hundred people were there. So it's just good to know that we're able to come together and work together in our community. Also, I want to thank the Neighborhood Services, Nancy Kelly, for our grant. We were able to send out postcards. Of course, we're always looking for people to come to our meetings, neighbors to come to our meetings to improve our community. Also, we do have a Facebook page, so it's Amaryllis Park on Facebook, and that's where we put out all our information is on Facebook. And thanks.
Karen Lirvald with San Remo Association. No comment. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Palagar with the Rosemary District. I am here with my delegate, Melissa Laughlin. Just 3 quick updates. We have been, for the past 3 years, trying to build a little park in the Rosemary District. It has been 3 years since we acquired the land, and I understand we just got our permit approved, and so hopefully that will start to make some progress towards completion, and we look forward to welcoming you into the vibrant heart of the Rosemary at Central and Boulevard of the Arts soon here. We have an upcoming meeting. It's the same night as the prep board meeting. It's Thursday, April the 18th. We've decided to start to align developer interests with neighborhood interests, so we're hosting our first community development meeting where developers are going to showcase their projects to the community and educate and inform and hopefully inspire changes or modifications to them as they go through the process. That is open to the public, and it's a great opportunity to try and get in front of some of the developments that are happening in the Rosemary District. The last thing is a very important thing, and it's in regards to a building that's located on 8th Street, 1425 8th Street. It's the Colson Hotel. For those of you that don't know, in 1884, the first free black man to arrive in Sarasota was Lewis Colson. He put the stake in the ground to survey Sarasota at 5 points. Only 4 blocks from there, Owen Burns built a hotel. It was the first black hotel in Sarasota, and it was during an era of the Green Book, where there was segregation and the blacks had to find their own accommodations. That hotel still stands today. It is tucked away back behind Central Avenue, right behind Planned Parenthood. There is a demolition request to demo that building that is going in front of the Historic Preservation Board early this month. And it is an incredibly important historical structure in the fabric of this city, its story, and it deserves some interest from all of you to pay attention to it. Thank you for the extra time.
Hello again, Judy Mower, Golden Gate Point, and you heard me whine before about the problem of construction workers parking, but I do want to express our sincere gratitude to Marlon Brown, Mayor Alpert, and especially Broxton Harvey for the recent enforcement of parking regulations. So we do really want you to know that it matters to us and we appreciate it. In my building, we have 2 people who are daily caretakers who come to help take care of them. And there have been a couple of mornings when there was just no place for them to park. It really is an issue on Golden Gate Point. And as we are going to be expanding in numbers of people as these development projects go forward, I'm not exactly sure what's ahead of us, but it's going to be tough to work with. We are working with 3 different contractor organizations. 2 of them are very responsible, one's scofflaw. You know, that's sort of the way it is. We do have a model process for working with developers. We organize neighborhood meetings with them, and their architects and landscape architects. We have a liaison with each project. So, you know, it's not perfect, but we do the best that we can to be a partner when they need a partner. We go to planning board meetings and, you know, testify for them on behalf of things that they need to have done. So, a good project we're working on, we're going to have new monument walls at the entrance to our street pretty soon. Those little old-fashioned ones will be replaced with something that looks better. So, anyway, glad to be here.
Valerie Bashan, resident council. Our tower residents just celebrated their Easter. Had a lot of people came, and I went to it after church, and it was just awesome to see how the residents work together. However, we need you all support because a housing authority went before the planning board to get a rezone overlay district for 22nd Street, and they also included Bertha Mitchell in there. Now Bertha Mitchell is the last housing that we have that is that continues to be affordable. We have a lot of green space. The housing authority have not and did not come to the residents. They just did it. Mr. Russell said he has not lifted a finger. However, who he hired, the consultant, they put the application in, but they continued to disrespect our council. They continue to disrespect the residents. And so now they are trying to provide for years to come to redevelop Bertha Mitchell. Now that will put people out of their community, our community, because we are incorporated now. We haven't always been incorporated, but we are now, and we are a community, and we do matter. So we need y'all to support us for a change on these issues. Thank you.
Jody Geiger with Bayou Oaks. On March 30th, we had a very successful neighborhood social gathering with probably over 140 neighbors attending. I want to thank Nancy Kelly for helping us with the grant and doing some shopping. April 9th will be our general member meeting, and that's it.
Okay, Daniel Frank, McClellan Park, excuse me?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Anyway, a couple thank yous, particularly to Nancy Kelly and the city for our new benches in Seminole Linear Park. They're larger than the previous ones, a little more seating space, and it's just really great to have replacements for the ones that were damaged in the hurricane. So thank you for that. The patches on Hyde Park Avenue by Yamaha have improved the situation. Seem to be subsiding a little bit, so you may want to just re-inspect them in a month or two. But it's much better and much safer there. And then also, I appreciate Nancy and Nick, I think both came out and looked at North Oval and the water drainage issues there. I have an email from Nick, I forwarded this to you, Pat, where he kind of identifies a couple areas that have potential for, just sort of spot curb repairs. I'd like to see, as opposed to, the phrasing was sort of like, there's some opportunities there we can look at. And it's like, I'd like to get past the look at stage and maybe get to a couple spot repairs.
I think we're in the contemplative phase now, right?
Yeah, so you're meditating.
Perfect.
It's
We'll get back to you.
Oh, great, yeah, anyway, thank you.
I think Nick is working on scheduling those curb repairs.
That'd be great. That's very reassuring. Thank you, Pat. Okay.
Melinda Delpash, Tahiti Park. Quick question for Pat. We would like to have our roads evaluated for resurfacing. Could you just put me in touch with whoever I need to talk to on that?
Yes, ma'am. No problem.
I think that's it. Well, thanks, guys. We're only 15 minutes over, so I apologies to the commissioners because we're over time. I'm gonna forego comments. I do want to say I got a couple things to say as president, leader of this motley crew. The agenda for the prep board is not posted, which means it's still fluid. So keep watching that. Okay, number 2, turn your mobiles back on. Okay, thank you for the 2 minutes. You guys did great. If you do want it and I would suggest that, Valerie, if you send us a note about that so that it's in the minutes, that would be good. Chairs. Last thing, chairs. There's a note that said, it's a complicated note. What it says is, just line the chairs up against the wall. All right, don't stack them. No, don't stack, and do not put them back in the room. But just belong to all. Thank you, everybody. We are adjourned.